Welcome to Grow My Etsy Shop podcast, the drips of knowledge you need to start growing. Hey, welcome. So first things first, I have to give a public apology. Turns out, I did not know this, but my mom listens to my podcast and was not happy about my brother rant. So, sorry, Mom, about last week's episode. Okay, back. So I'm going to jump into my meat and potatoes here. But before I jump into the meat and potatoes here, I want to talk about just some of the updates that I saw on Etsy this week. Just helpful stuff. So one of the things that I saw, I had a couple people submit some shops to me who were running ads, and then when they went to look at their ad account, there was this little message that said, hey, Etsy's actually promoting these listings for free. So we're covering the cost for you. You are legit just... And like they couldn't turn them off. So it was like grayed out, and Etsy was like, we're going to... And to my knowledge, they're still doing this for free. And it would show what their ROAS was compared to what they paid. So like one guy had 33 cents, and he had a 10x ROAS. Yeah, pretty crazy. And so I don't know what they're doing. When I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to logically kind of work through it. I'm like, I don't know why Etsy would do this, but if you haven't in a while, look at your ad account and see if you guys are experiencing anything like that. And then if you are, I have a thread in the Facebook group you can check out. Or I'm going to be launching that new group soon, so sit tight with that one. A or B, whatever I'm at right now. Shout out to those who've signed up for that as well. I've got your stuff, and just as I'm putting my finishing touches on some stuff, I'll be able to send an email out when that group opens up. You could be one of the founders. Exciting. Next thing is some people have hit me up as well with that Etsy is promoting or showing that you're a trusted shop right there on your shop page. And then they show how many repeat customers you've had in the last 90 days, which, boy, do I love that data. And I think it's fantastic, especially if you have a good return customer rate, to have that data be shown, and then for yourself as well to be able to see that. So keep an eye out for that. This is probably something they're testing, but just stuff to keep an eye out for. All right, so for today's episode, we're going to be talking about the concept of a Heigh-Ho project. This is a 100% internal, not something you find on Google, technique from Jared Robinson and the people who have worked alongside Jared Robinson. So that's all you're getting here. A Heigh-Ho project. So this originates from the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And as you know, when they go to work, they sing this song called Heigh-Ho, and then they go out and they do their thing. And the idea is that when a dwarf goes out and starts to work, now if you're familiar with the song, they do something. There's an act, and that act is dig, 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 dun, 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 right? They dig. And that concept of dig, 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 dig is where this Heigh-Ho project kind of rolls into. And so I was meeting with someone 2 weeks ago, I think, and I asked her this question, well, do you have, because this is a useful technique for those, and good heavens, it is common for people who have lots of ideas. And should we go down, I've been listening to this guy from Harvard who talks about happiness and stuff like this. It's really great. But he talks about the concept of being bored, and that there's a lot of good things, skill sets that come from being bored, and there's actual purpose of life that's discovered when you're forced to think about things and listen to your thoughts and entertain yourself within your head. He actually talked about this funny study where they'd bring people in this room, absolutely nothing to do in this room, and they would say, you need to be in this room for 15 minutes. And, oh, by the way, there's a big red button in the center of the room, and that red button will shock you, and it'll hurt if you hit that red button. So, completely optional, but 15 minutes, you get paid at the end of 15 minutes, regardless whether you hit the button or not. Have a nice life. See you in 15 minutes. And that a majority of the people would choose, instead of being bored, would go up and push the red button and receive a shock. I don't know if I would. I think I would be guilty of it. I think curiosity would get to me, but that resonated with me because I was like, oh yeah, no, I get it. I would prefer to entertain myself with that red button than I would to sit still for 15 minutes. And this Harvard guy is saying we have these devices in our pockets that strip us of boredom. And if we don't feel boredom, then we miss out. So if you want to get, gosh, I'm going down a real tangent here. But he says there's these 3 categories of happiness. One is satisfaction, one is enjoyment, and the other is purpose. And he said that purpose is found in boredom. You create purpose for yourself. So not just like, why I go to work, but like your meaning of life, what you would live for, all that stuff comes from having time to wrestle with these thoughts within your mind, and that your mind doesn't want to go there because it's a scary place to go, and it loses the ability to do it. It's kind of like a muscle. If you're replacing boredom with, so that, he says, like, check yourself. Are you at red lights looking at your phone? Are you at crosswalks looking at your phone? As soon as someone says, yeah, sure, have a seat, do you pull your phone out of your pocket because you're going to, the whole thing, which I think most of us are guilty of. He's saying that is taking away from the ability to be bored, and with that, you're losing one of the 3 major things of finding happiness, which is to find purpose within that. So if you want to know the call to action is to exercise or walk or sit without. So his thing is you leave your phone at home. So when you exercise, don't take your phone with you. When you are on a walk, don't take your phone with you. Like that kind of stuff. And so his philosophies are, if you want, I don't know if you care, but 7 o'clock, phone's off. Don't sleep next to your phone is the other one. Charge your phone somewhere else. And when you are with people, the phone is not within reach. And so he says that's even with family, the whole thing. Like his thing is you choose to be with the people who are in front of you, not with the people who aren't in the room. And then, if you want to keep going, his rule of social media is that you do 30 minutes max of social media, and it should be only used to enhance your real social life, because he says that social media is the carbohydrates of, there's a chemical that he was talking about that gets released. This thing that your body needs to be social. And that's only obtained through eye contact and touch, that it's truly obtained. And so when you are using social media, it's this carbohydrate of this, it started with an O, I can't exactly remember the exact thing, so you binge it because you're just trying to get this, like you're just quite out of reach to be able to satisfy what you need from being a human and being a social creature, that you binge social media, and then it ends up taking your ability to pay attention, and it floods you with ideas that don't have any, there's no finish line to what you're doing, and then it removes the purpose, and gosh, I can keep going. He talks about the concept of knowing how much money someone makes does one or two things. It either makes you prideful because you make more money, or it makes you jealous. And so he's saying social media takes that same concept of like, either I'm prideful because I'm better than these people, or I'm jealous that I don't have these people. And you live in this constant state of bouncing between prideful and jealousy that doesn't happen in boredom. And in boredom, you will find peace, you'll find rest, you'll find these things. So, okay, well, there's a freaking side tangent for you. I'll get back on subject here. So the concept of a Heigh-Ho project is when you have something that you're going to be working on that doesn't have a direct timeline. So you should have something in your mind that's like, I want to get this done. And I guarantee you have it. And you're kind of beating yourself up because you're like, oh gosh, I'm not getting this thing done. And the idea is you're supposed to, well, this is Jared's philosophy, so I'm saying this like it's third person. It's not. This is what Jared says. Jared says, you have something that constantly stays on your to-do list. So I use to-do lists, and I have the tasks that need to be done that get ranked at the top, and then I have stuff that just gets carried over. And the stuff that gets carried over is your Heigh-Ho project. This means it doesn't have direct ROI. So there's some things that like are broken in your Etsy shop. You got to fix those. There's some things that are preventing you from making it. You got to fix those. There's some things that need to be done that the Etsy gods want you to do. Like, you got to do those things. So those are the things that are your list that you're kind of just working on. But then there's just this idea that's in the back of your head, and it doesn't need to be flushed out. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to have a spark. Enough that you'll say, yeah, when I have a second, when I have some time, when something clears up, I'm going to dig at that. Now, this is the important concept. Not complete it, not finish it, not head in the right direction for it. I'm just going to dig. And if you have the mindset that is, I'm going to dig, because keep in mind, sometimes you dig and there's a big jewel that you can put in your eye and look through, and then I'm talking about that scene in Snow White. And then sometimes you dig and there's nothing there, and that's fine, because you're digging. There, you have to move dirt to find something. So with this concept, you would, for example, let's say that, you are working on something and it ends up being a little bit quicker than you anticipated, or you have a meeting and that meeting's running a little bit late, or whatever it may be. So you're like, what is my Heigh-Ho project? This is one that I hear a lot of people talk about. They want email. They want to be able to reach out to customers. They want a way that they can connect and make that work. And so they say, because they know they can automate it. So if I build it, I can automate it, and then I'm not stuck in the systems of it. So I just need to find time to dig it, but it's intimidating. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to work. I don't know all that stuff. And so you say, great, I'm going to dig at it. And what's going to be my dig? I'm going to see which software I want to work with. So you go. You look at some stuff. You're looking at some things. You got a tab open that's just kind of looking at some stuff. And then maybe you get it down to 2. Oh, I like this one and this one. Okay, great. Put that on your list between these 2. And that's it. The meeting starts. You go on with your life. No. Pretty soon, a couple days later, something else opens up. You find some spots, whatever it may be. You look at your dig list and you go, I'm going to go in between those 2. And so then you start looking at the difference between those 2. Now you've got it down to 1. Beautiful. Some time goes by. No. You come back to it. You start to work with that software. You don't like it. No problem. You're digging. It's no problem. So then you go, okay, let's go back. Look at this thing. Because keep in mind, the mindset behind this is that you're not pressured. You're not giving yourself a deadline. You're just sort of digging at something in the background. And some of us do better with deadlines. And so it's nice to give yourself a generous deadline to get something done on a Heigh-Ho project if needed. A generous deadline being like, I want to at least be at this point by Christmas. And you know for a fact, it's not going to take me that long. Give yourself the generous deadline. The idea of a Heigh-Ho is that you're going to have the things that need to get done. And then you kind of have your projects that are like, deadline oriented. And then you have a Heigh-Ho project. And so when I met with this individual, I said, well, we were talking and I asked her about the Heigh-Ho project. She obviously didn't know what that meant. We had that conversation. She kind of then was able to say, well, I've kind of always wanted this thing. And my follow-up was, well, how much time have you spent thinking about it? She was like, 0. And I was like, great, Heigh-Ho it. Just start digging in it. And you'll find that you'll hit a diamond in there. So, call to action for podcast listeners, yourselves. I want you to just out loud think to yourself, well, hey, call it action number 1, be bored. And if you want to think about your Heigh-Ho project without the internet, that's a great way to let your brain do some work for you. But think about that Heigh-Ho project. What's the thing that I've got? And this can be on Etsy. This could be investing money. This could be improving something in your life that you just know is going to take some mental energy, but it's too big to think about. I just don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. And instead, break it into digs. Tell yourself you can dig down tunnels that don't end anywhere. That's because the goal is this. Dig. Not to find the diamond, not to do the thing. Dig. I can promise you that if you get into the habit of digging, you will find a diamond. But don't judge yourself on the diamond. Judge yourself on digging. You will learn skill sets. You'll learn. The world will open up more to you. You will be productive with your time. Like, it's just a really good habit to kind of have a Heigh-Ho project that when you find yourself in lulls that you go towards. It's super helpful. Okay. Till next week. Dig, 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 dig,